तो क्या था लास्ट टॉपिक? We concluded that topic, right? Pokhran test. Just tell the last line. अच्छा, हेडिंग डलवाया था अंडर पोखरण 2. अच्छा, वाजपेयी. ओके, लेट देम स्टार्ट. हाँ, so under Operation Shakti, okay, so under Operation Shakti, India did its second nuclear test, right, under Pokhran 2. So it was on between 11 to 13 May, all right, in 1998. Okay, so you were attending online, any problem? All clear? Okay, so just write, India conducted its second nuclear test on 11th to 13th May 1998, and the code name that was given to this test was Operation Shakti 125. Okay, and the code name that was given to this test was this. All right. Okay, so what was the key feature? So it included thermonuclear capability, in bracket write hydrogen bomb. It included thermonuclear capability. Please come. भीगे तो नहीं बारिश में? भीगे? अच्छा, ये गीला हो गया तो ये वाला अच्छा, इसमें हैंडल नहीं है तो ये वाला ले लो. ये भी गीला हो गया. उतना गीला नहीं है, बैठो. गीला है? ओके, लेट मी यूज दिस. ना, तो यू कैन वाइप इट यूजिंग दिस. कर दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, ये तो धुलना ही है वैसे भी. हाँ, एंड जल्दी लिखो, बैठो और जल्दी लिखो. Okay, and it also included thermonuclear capability, that was the hydrogen bomb capability. All right, so इसमें जो है हमने क्या किया था, हमने अपना हाइड्रोजन बॉम्ब भी जो है वो डेवलप किया था. We also developed our hydrogen bomb. Good evening, Vishnu. I didn't saw your message. Okay, and Aarti is not there in today's online class. Okay, so and also this after this, India basically declared itself to be a nuclear weapon state. Okay, so just write this also. So after this nuclear test, India declared its status as nuclear weapon state. I think you need to leave half page. All right. So, and also the justification that was given by India was that the first and the major threat that we face is from China. Okay, and yes, officially Pakistan was also named in that. And also the concern, just so our nuclear test became reaffirmed just in 20 days. So because in just 20 days, Pakistan also did its nuclear test. All right. So now our conviction that we face a major threat from our neighbor, this became even more stronger. All right. So now this thing happened. Now also one very big initiative happened under Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So it was the diplomacy with regards to Pakistan. Okay, so what he did, he basically took a bus. Okay, took a bus from Delhi to Lahore. Okay, so that is often referred in the Indian politics as bus diplomacy. All right. So he himself went in that bus and he took the bus from Delhi to Lahore as a part of a good gesture. All right, to basically ease the tensions and also to improve the relations of India and Pakistan. All right, but in he also visited Lahore. Okay, but in return, what Pakistan gave us? So Pakistan in return gave us Kargil. Okay, so that is why it is often said that there is no point of basically discussing with a mad child with a loaded gun. All right, so that's a completely a failed state. That's a mad state. We don't really know with whom the power lies. We talk with civilian government. Now the army comes to power. We try to talk with army. We really don't know whom to talk. गुड इवनिंग, आ जाओ, यहाँ आ जाओ। मैं मंगाऊं क्या चेयर? और भी है क्या कोई? मैं हॉल चेंज करवाता हूँ। नहीं, ये हॉल कौन सा है? 19 कौन सा है यहाँ, पता है तुम्हें? उसमें ज्यादा आ जाते हैं ना बच्चे। हाँ, कल से 19 में है क्लास। फ्रॉम टुमारो टाइम चेंज हुआ है आपकी क्लास का। हाँ, इस क्लास का अभी बताता हूँ। नहीं नहीं, 3:40 to 5। ओहो, एक सेकंड दो। हाँ हाँ, ठीक है। अभी हम बोलेंगे तो फिर लगेगा कि ये आईआर से इकोनॉमी छोड़ो। बड़ा इतना सोचा करो, फैक्ट्री में जो बना है ना उसमें जो कॉस्ट आई है, सिंपल है बड़ा। लैंड, लेबर, कैपिटल, एंटरप्रेन्योर, मुझे पैसा लगा है। फैक्ट्री, फैक्टर मींस फैक्ट्री, फैक्ट्री में जो बना फैक्टर कॉस्ट ठीक है। कहाँ पढ़ रहे हो अभी ये? और एनसीईआरटी इकोनॉमिक्स। अच्छा, चलो अब देखो मेरी बात सुनो। तो दे डिड द लाहौर बस डिप्लोमेसी, राइट? तो उसके बाद में लाहौर बस डिप्लोमेसी में जो है एक लाहौर डिक्लेरेशन भी साइन हुआ था, पीस, फ्रेंडशिप, कमिटमेंट इसका, बट नो रिजल्ट। ओके, सो जस्ट पुट अ हेडिंग, इंडियाज रिलेशन विद पाकिस्तान ड्यूरिंग टाइम ऑफ वाजपेयी। इंडियाज रिलेशन विद पाकिस्तान ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ वाजपेयी। ठीक है, अच्छा। सो द फर्स्ट इनिशिएटिव, राइट, लाहौर इनिशिएटिव। First initiative was the Lahore Initiative, 1999. Okay, so it was the Lahore Initiative. ठीक है। तो लाहौर इनिशिएटिव में व्हाट हैपेंड, सो a bus service was started between Delhi and Lahore, and Vajpayee himself visited Lahore. ठीक है। During this visit, a Lahore Declaration was signed. During this visit, a Lahore Declaration was signed. तो आपका टाइम क्लैश हो रहा है, किस किस का टाइम क्लैश हो रहा है? 1 2 3, और किसी का? और जो मॉर्निंग वाले हैं, आप मॉर्निंग वाले और है कोई? अच्छा, आप सभी मॉर्निंग वाले हो, आप लोगों का नहीं क्लैश हो रहा? आपकी लास्ट क्लास कब है? 2, बस वही होती है। अच्छा, 12 होता है। अच्छा, so 3:40 will not be suitable for you. What time will be suitable for you? After 5:30 तो यार ऑप्शन लगा दी मेरी। अच्छा, चलो देखते हैं फिर कुछ। So Lahore Declaration was signed for reinforcing the commitment to peace, nuclear restraint and dialogue. And reinforcing the commitment to peace, nuclear restraint and dialogues. Okay, so this was the commitment that was signed. Now also one major event that happened was the Kargil war. All right, so now first was the Lahore bus diplomacy, and then basically the Kargil war 1999. Okay, just put this main heading. There were posts in Kargil area. Okay, Dras, Batalik were the hills. So what used to happen was there was a general practice that during the time of winters, what used to happen, the armed forces of, it was a general convention that used to happen. All right, in every year, what used to happen was in the winter, the armed forces from those hills, they used to come down because in those areas there were basically the permanent snow areas. Those were permanent snow areas, and basically during the time of winters, what used to happen, it was very high, chilling cold, so armed forces used to step down from those areas. Now what happened, some tribals were basically going there and were just feeding their cattle. All right, so there they basically observed some activities there. Okay, so they just informed to the base camps there, and then it got to know that some tribal intrusions that happened in basically the part of the territory which was an integral part of India. All right, so that was the Kargil range. Okay, so now this was a basically during this time the war was initiated by Pakistan. Okay, by basically sponsoring the tribal intrusions there, and India responded to it militarily. All right, and this started the Kargil war, in which India obviously won that war. All right, so just write the major cause behind this war was Pakistan infiltrated the Kargil region across the line of control. That Pakistan infiltrated the Kargil region across the line of control. Pakistan infiltrated the Kargil region across line of control. Okay. All right. India responded to it militarily, evicted the intruders, and reclaimed its territories. All right. Due to this, Pakistan faced global criticism. Okay. Now, during this time, what happened with regards to USA? There were visit of Bill Clinton. Okay, during this time, the American President Bill Clinton visited India and signed several agreements on the technology front, on cooperation front. All right, so several agreements were signed. And after that, Bill Clinton government went away, and George Bush government came. Okay, now Bush government also did everything to basically strengthen ties more. Okay, it also did everything for strengthening ties, and majorly it was good. Okay, the relations with regards to India and USA were good. Okay, during this time several cooperations were happening. Okay, so just put a main heading, that is India US relations during this time. India US relations during this time. With USA, there was existing that tension also, you know, because India conducted its nuclear test, and USA was the biggest opposer to it. All right, they never wanted India to become a nuclear weapon state. All right, so we secretly conducted our mission and were successful in that. Okay, so after that, several sanctions were put on India. Okay, now there were some ease in the sanctions. Okay, after which there was a visit of Clinton, and that eased the tensions. All right, so just right. During this time, there was the visit of Bill Clinton in 2000. There was the visit of Bill Clinton in 2000. Harshika, you are late today. What? In 2000. Okay. So, and that was a major turning point in India-US relations. ठीक है, लिख लो इस बात को, right? And that was a major turning point in India-US relations. Okay. And the outcomes were several economic agreements and technology cooperation. You were not late, but in the beginning I just saw Vishnu. Yes, what? Several economic agreements and technological cooperation. Written? This time you were wrong. And what happened was, there are levels of partnership. Okay, so the higher level of partnership is the strategic partnership. Okay, and the level of India US relationship went from partners to strategic partners during the time of George Bush. Okay, so now, right, the Bush administration later on, the Bush administration later on further strengthened the India US ties, further strengthened the India US ties. Okay, and steps were taken like NSSP. Next step in strategic partnership. Okay, okay, Harshika. Okay, and now the cooperation got started in areas of, देखो, And now the cooperation got started in the areas of missile and nuclear technology. Now, although there were so many things that were happening during this time, there was a terror attack on India, on Indian Parliament in 2001. During that time, we basically a huge mobilization of troops were seen. Okay, a very assertive action on this was seen in India, and basically this huge mobilization of troops created a pressure on China. Sorry, on Pakistan. All right, and this was happening during this time, where one event happened. So what happened in 2003, there was Iraq war, all right, and in Iraq war US wanted India to help militarily. Okay, US now, because in the India and US relations were improving, so USA was obviously expecting a help from in terms of military from India. But India, basically due to our domestic politics and due to so many other factors, India refused to help USA in Iraq war, all right. So India did not help them. So basically the reason was that there was domestic opposition, and also there were doubts over weapon of mass destruction, all right. So there were doubts that there might be involvement of some weapon of mass destruction that we call as WMD, weapon of mass destruction, that is nuclear weapons, all right. So there were certain doubts that there might be involvement of some weapon of mass destruction during this war. So we basically put restraint in basically involving with the Iraq war, all right. And we were also very skeptical of USA, because the friendship was very new, because since a very long time we were not being that friendly to USA. Okay, and USA in turn was also not very friendly to India. So we were very skeptical, all right. So during the Iraq war, during the Iraq war in 2003, USA requested India to help them militarily. ओके, सो यूएसए ने हमें रिक्वेस्ट की कि हमें मिलिटरीली हेल्प करो, ठीक है। तो इसमें क्या हुआ, इंडिया रिफ्यूज्ड टू सेंड ट्रूप्स, इंडिया रिफ्यूज्ड टू सेंड ट्रूप्स, and the reason was domestic pressure and doubts over the involvement of weapons of mass destruction. Hmm. So yes, here what happened, now again the talks resume. So you can write this point also. SARC summit happened in 2004, where now it became possible for India and Pakistan to resume their dialogues. That again started our trade and cooperation. Yes, this was all about the phase of Vajpayee. So you can write a good number of points with regards to this. Now, रुको, तू गए हो? कितने? 3:30 बजे से ना. Let me talk to them. Okay. 12 बजे चलेगा तुम्हें क्या? 12 बजे कॉलेज. सर मेरी 2 बजे होती तो ट्रैवल में एक आर. 1 घंटा तो लग ही जाता होगा. चलो कोई बात नहीं. वैसे टुडे यू केम एट द राइट टाइम. वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट दिस. ओके. उसके बता दो कितना पेज छोड़ना है. 2 pages. Just leave 2 pages. All right. So see now, this phase was the phase of rising globalization. All right. Our economy was getting more integrated with the world economy, and this was basically the time that we required, India as a developing country required a stable neighborhood. If any one person will, any one state will go to any other state to inspect their nuclear facility, that will not be right, because that will be a violation of the sovereignty of a country. All right. So what happens is now, you don't know how many nuclear weapons I have. There is, yes, there is IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, But for that also there are so many restrictions. They can't basically all of a sudden come and just inspect that place, they can't do that. So you don't know how many drones I have, you don't know how many weapons do I have, you don't know about my missile enrichment program, you don't know about my capabilities. So in that case what happens, and whenever wrong thing happens, the first thing that states do is to stop their ties, is to cut off their ties. Okay, you will see whenever any disturbance happens with regards to India and Pakistan, the first step that is taken by both the government is to call back their ambassadors from both the countries. That's the first step that they do. Okay, what this results, this actually results in loss of confidence between the countries. By cutting dialogue, see what happens now, sometime with our parents also, with our siblings also, the problem increases by not talking. But the time we just start saying any single sentence or even a single thing, the problem gets resolved automatically. This happens. Okay, the major problem is the stopping the communication, the major problem is stopping the dialogues. Now in case of India Pakistan also, this is the major problem. We stop all the ties, we cut off all the ties, we stop talking to each other. Okay, that's a very big problem. Now yes, in India is right in this stance because we really don't know whom to talk, whether to talk with the army or to talk with the civilian government. All right, we really don't know about that. Okay, so now India is also majboor in this case. All right, but yes, there is something called as CDM, so CBM, confidence building measures. Okay, so during Manmohan this thing happened. They started confidence building measures, the measures that will give us the confidence to maintain our ties, even to deepen our ties. Getting the point? So that was called as confidence building measures. Okay, so during this time those measures were also implemented, several engagements also got started, so several positive things happened. All right, so just write Dr. Manmohan Singh. And you know one thing, he only Prime Minister of India whose signature you can see on the notes of India, on the currency of India, because he was also the RBI governor. Okay, who issued the currency of India, and he was a very educated person, very educated person. If you will clearly hear, because it was very difficult to hear him. Okay, but if you will clearly hear his words, now his words showed intellect. His words were very intellectual because he was not given the क्या बोलेंगे उसको, independence to take decisions. Why? Because he was really accidental prime minister. He was neither having the urge to become the prime minister nor even having that capability to become the prime minister. Because many intellectual persons, they really don't, like, they are not fit for being politicians. They're not at all fit for being politicians. Because see, APJ Abdul Kalam is a revered personality. He was a very brilliant scientist, the missile man of India. There are no words to describe his capabilities, but he was not a good president. He was not a good president. All right. So intellectuals are not the right one to be selected as politician, because politics and diplomacy requires spreading lies. Ambassador is sent to another country on the behalf of their motherland to tell a lie. This is true. This is very true. ठीक है. So बोलते हैं ना हम भी, whenever someone is not saying something to us directly, we just call them diplomat, being diplomat. What does that mean? You're lying. Simply you're lying. You're not saying the truth. ठीक है. Something must be hidden in what you are saying, right? So it is not a fool's paradise. Okay, just he said, if you will say that in the present time it can be, or basically now it's shifting, because now we can see that in the cabinet also there are educated people. Okay, they are basically very intellect people. Just take the example of our foreign minister only. So he is a retired bureaucrat. All right, but and there was a middle time, okay, in the history of India, where your words are very true. But in the starting also, when we just became independent, at that time, you know one thing, the people who were there in the constituent assembly, na, they were not politicians, not at all. No single person was a politician there. Either they were lawyers, either they were barristers, either they were doctors, either they were some other person, working businessmen, owners, head of the princely states. They were like this. They were not politician. Politics was not a profession at that time. It was a social service. They were a lawyer. They were committing to the nation and contributing to the development of the nation in the, whatever best way they can, right? So it was not a profession. But the time we make it as a profession, na, then this problem comes. All right. So this thing happens. No, right? Dr. Manmohan Singh became the prime minister in 2004. Dr. Manmohan Singh became the prime minister in 2004. मुस्कान पेजेस बदल लिए, कहाँ गए वो पुराने वाले पेजेस? अच्छा, क्यों पता है? वो ये ब्लैक वाले वो जेके बॉन्ड के है ना, हाँ ये मैं भी यूज करता हूँ. आई लाइक दीज पेजेस और मुझे पता लग रहा है कि वो पेज नहीं है ये, है ना? हाँ हाँ, बिकॉज दीज आर द पेजेस आई एम यूजिंग सिंस लास्ट आई थिंक 7 to 8 years. बहुत बढ़िया पेजेस, वो पेज क्वालिटी बहुत अच्छी होती है इसकी, राइट? Became the prime minister in 2004 and also right, his foreign policy operated in a globalized and post Cold War world. In a globalized and a post Cold War world. Operated in a globalized and post Cold War world. What is not possible? Everything is possible. I can do that, definitely. Is there anything that is not possible? Nothing. Muskan, करना वो बंद. AC. Done? हाँ देखो, मैं हमेशा कहूंगा चलाने, क्यों? बड़ी गर्मी होती है इससे, ठीक है? इट रेडिएट्स हीट ठीक है, लेकिन ठीक है, मौसम खराब है अभी, तो भाई अभी ना थोड़ा गीला वीला मत होना, ठीक है? जरा बारिश हो गई ना और सर वर पे लग गई तो मतलब बीमार हो जाओगे पक्का, ठीक है? तो अभी बीमार नहीं होना, पढ़ाई करो. चलो देखो सुनो, देखो या सुनो, यू आर नॉट आस्किंग मी बट मेरे स्टूडेंट्स आस्क मी सर देखें या सुने बिकॉज दिस इज माय डिफॉल्ट डायलॉग, देखो सुनो. अब देखो ऐसा है कि सो यू कैन राइट वन थिंग, हिज फॉरेन पॉलिसी कैन बी कैरेक्टराइज्ड एज पीस, इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ एंड ग्लोबल इंटीग्रेशन. अच्छा, so just put a very small heading, that is the nature of foreign policy during this time. So right, it was a combination of peace, diplomacy and economic engagement. Peace, diplomacy and economic engagement. All right, so also right, there was major emphasis on dialogues and cooperation, comma economic partnership. Emphasis was on dialogue and cooperation. Right, comma economic partnerships and strategic engagements. And strategic engagements. Clear? So this was majorly a development oriented foreign policy, and also there were some elements of strategic balance that was conducted during this time. So just put a heading that India Pakistan relations during this time. Okay, India Pakistan relations. So what happened? He met with Pervez Musharraf. No, don't write. रुक जाओ, रुक जाओ. He met with Pervez Musharraf in 2004. Okay, and that was the start of the confidence building measures. There was also a launch of composite dialogue process between India and Pakistan on the issue of Kashmir, Siachen Glacier, Vular Barrage, and also the Tulbul project. Okay, that was going on there. Okay, so we had some certain concerns, and with regards to that, we had dialogues, and there was a composite dialogue process that got started during that time. Okay, so one Srinagar Muzaffarabad bus service was also started during this time. Okay, मुजफ्फराबाद बहुत दूर है तो नहीं है शायद, पता नहीं पाकिस्तान में कितना दूर है इंडिया से, but yes, bus service got started. Major thing was not to tackle the distance but also to increase the cooperation. All right, and it increased the people to people contact. Okay, so P2P diplomacy got strengthened by this. All right, so right, uh, the major focus was on improving the relations with Pakistan. A meeting with Pervez Musharraf held in 2004 with Pervez Musharraf, Pervez, फिर Musharraf, Musharraf. हाँ. Uh, it was the start of the confidence building measures. क्या हुआ बताओ? Musharraf. Just a second. Am I that teacher whom the students are very fearful of talking? Am I Hitler? Why don't you ask directly to me? हाँ, जवाब दो. Why don't you ask directly to me? Any answer? मैं डरावना हूँ तब फिर हंस रहे हो यार. चलो, मुझसे पूछा करो, ठीक है? कोई दिक्कत है तो तुमको कोई दिक्कत? नहीं ना? ठीक है, लिखो. क्या लिख पा रहे? हाँ, अंडर विच मेजर फोकस, या ऐसे लिखो, अंडर विच देयर वाज लॉन्च ऑफ confidence building measures whereby composite dialogue process was started. Composite dialogue process was started to discuss several issues. चलता नहीं है ये, ऑन करना बटन. ये कहाँ से ऑन होगा? हाँ, तू ऐसे ही रहे तू ऐसे ही रहे तो ही ठीक है भैया, नहीं चलाना तेरे को। ठीक, बी एज यू आर। चलो अब चलता है स्लो पे। अरे पता लगा स्लो पे नीचे ही आ गया, तो थोड़ी देर चला दें इसी, थोड़ी देर के लिए, कोई नहीं, तुम वहां बैठ जाओ, उधर और ठंड है, तुम यहाँ आ जाओ। अच्छा अच्छा बैठो, तुम लिखो। श्रीनगर मुजफ्फराबाद बस सर्विस was also started. Srinagar Muzaffarabad bus service was also started to increase the people to people contact. And the objective was to make the borders less relevant for India and Pakistan. And see, this is the main problem. Whenever an initiative is taken to basically ease the tensions, now what happens is, you know one thing, during our Indian independence movement, na, Are we can stay at any point. Just tell which point.
Objective was to make the border less.
Relevant.
So what does it mean?
Just telling you. So see, even during the revolt of 1857, na, you know one thing, there were Indians only who opposed that revolt. The people who were rising in rebellion against Britishers, na, there were zamindar, there were educated people who basically, because of whom this revolt was not successful. Why? Because whenever a group of people see that their domination is decreasing by bringing a change, any positive change, they will not allow that change to happen. This is very true. Whenever the people who are influential at any place, whenever they will feel that certain changes are being coming, that's a positive change, they will rise and revolt to that change. And army in Pakistan is that element. When they saw that the buses are going across the borders, now the importance of border is decreasing. That means this relevance was decreasing. The importance of border was decreasing because of that border, you need to first take passport, then apply for visa, which was a very difficult thing to get. Then only you will be able to travel across the border. Borders were very stringent, very difficult to be crossed. Now the relevance of the borders is decreasing. That affected the army there, and army felt that their dominance will be decreased, and in return of that they gave us 3 attacks. Attack number 1 in 2000, just a second. Attack number 1, the 2005 attack in Delhi. Attack number 2, 2006 attack in Varanasi. And attack number 3, the same 2006 terror attack in Mumbai. This initiative, now then we say that why things are not happening in the right way between India and Pakistan. No, what to do? We started a bus in 99, we got Kargil. We started a bus in 99, we got parliament attack. We started a basically meeting of leaders in 2004, we got terror attacks in 5 and 6. On one side, civilian government is trying to increase the cooperation, but on the other side, army is basically discouraging. So there are also rise of several non-state actors. Terrorism is a non-state actor. And even, you know one thing, not just India, but Pakistan itself is suffering from the terrorism. अरे अटैक्स हो रहे हैं वहां पे, इतने बस जला दे रहे हैं, स्कूल में बच्चे मार दे रहे हैं, people are killing the students, small children in school. Balochistan is being suppressed by the people. Okay, I just saw that movie Dhurandhar 2. The Baloch people, they are literally suffering. Balochistan was never a part of British Indian Empire. They never want to be with Pakistan because it was never a part of Pakistan. Okay, not officially, neither technically nor geographically. Huge suppression is going on there of the Baloch people because they are rising in resistance. So Balochistan, now we can just wait and watch when it will be separated from Pakistan to basically decrease its power. है ना? अब यही सोच सकते हैं करें क्या? What to do? Nothing is there in our hand to do. We start cooperating, we get these things in return. So right, but the challenges continued in form of several terror attacks. क्या हुआ? सोच रहे थे क्या? अरे तुम्हें समझ में नहीं आता है ना कि लिखना कब है और सुनना कब? क्या बताया मैंने? But the challenges continued in form of terror attacks sponsored by Pakistan. Delhi in bracket 2005, Varanasi in 2006, and Mumbai in 2006. 2005. Mumbai and Varanasi in 2006. And the trust deficit remained. By China also in 2005 there was a meeting of this Chinese premier to India. He was Wen Jiabo. Okay, Wen Jiabo. He visited India, trade, economy, defense cooperation, energy security. This all happened. Okay, so but yes, the border dispute still remained, and there was no final solution to the border dispute. So that's why there is no actual need to write that here because there was no strategic or any change or any progress that happened during that time with China. Okay. India-US relation देख लो, right? India-US relations. I told you that, okay? So थोड़ी देर के लिए, ठीक है? मैडम, मुस्कान अपने आप बंद कर देना उसको, ठीक है? याद से. तो अब सुनो मेरी बात. With USA, right? With US, India signed a India-US civil nuclear agreement. India-US civil nuclear agreement. All right. Which ended India's nuclear isolation from the rest of the world. And by this, ended India's nuclear isolation from the rest of the world. Okay. And also, right, and by this, USA recognized India as a responsible nuclear state. As a responsible nuclear state. Okay. As a responsible nuclear state. So now this was a very big achievement of India's foreign policy, which is often less highlighted. See, just telling you the developments during UPA government, RTI came during that time, civil nuclear agreement signed during that time, even this national level food security program started during that time. So this good works happened during that time also. It is not like the things are changing now only. Yes, development is Manrega also happened during that time only, and It is not like development never came during that time. Development came during that time. There were other problems. Okay. Now development is also going, but things are going well. But it is generally assumed that now there was nothing happened during that time. It's not like that. We are moving in right direction. See, now you will start countering me. I know this very well. You will say that communalism is increasing. I am to saying communalism is decreasing. Why I am saying that? The peak of communalism was in 1947. Yaar. Just see. The peak of communalism was in 1947. It is not like it is increasing. See, whenever some sort of radical elements enters the society, na, it is not like the entire society gets radicalized. It is not like that. It is just because of media. The media, whatever issue the media starts highlighting, we just feel that only those things exist in the country. It is not like that. No, India is free from any such riot. Okay, the last riot was in Delhi. That was Delhi riot. That was also counted in just 48 hours. India is now being free from any kind of riot. India is basically developing. Our GDP is developing. Poverty alleviation programs are going on at a very high rate. Now Muskan will, जैसे इसके चेहरे से पता लग रहा है, ये कह रही है कि नहीं गलत कह रहे हो आप. अरे, when you will think positive, ना. Why this will not happen? अरे मुस्कान, why this will not happen, यार? We are not homogeneous. We are not homogeneous. Where? अरे तो government is not a panacea for all the evils, यार. सुनो, in this class ना,
Instead of curbing it, the government is encouraging to increase it. That's great.
ऐसा हमें लगता है. अभी देखो, I am the one person who is telling to just 15-20 people one thing, and you are not agreeing to those things. Now, how can you expect that the country as a one at one place 140 crore people will agree to a single thing? There will be differences.
I'm not talking about the difference. Obviously, there will be. As India is a diverse and secular society, there will be an issue. Okay? I'm not talking about that. I am talking why the government is encouraging it. Then it's the government's job to disturb these issues.
It's not doing that. Only feel it's doing. It's not doing that. Government will not remain in power when it will start doing that. Government will not remain in power.
That's.
I just don't think like that. Government will not remain. अरे हम ही वोट देंगे दूसरे को यार. अगर if it will do that, we will not vote for them. If the government will start doing that, don't. अरे नहीं यार, तुम अच्छा सोचो. अरे नहीं, मैं तो सब साइड फोकस कर रहा हूँ. मैं तो सब साइड फोकस कर रहा हूँ. I know गवर्नमेंट में बहुत कमियां हैं. हाँ, बहुत बहुत वाइड डिस्पैरिटी है. बहुत बड़ी डिस्पैरिटी है. ऑक्सफैम रिपोर्ट बताती है 70% रिसोर्सेज देश की 10% लोगों के हाथ में है. हाँ ठीक है, ऊपर नीचे हो गया होगा, ठीक है, लेकिन बहुत डिस्पैरिटी है. डिस्पैरिटी, पॉवर्टी बहुत है. आज भी हमारे देश में बहुत लोगों के पास में 2 वक्त की रोटी नहीं है खाने को. द प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट द आउटपुट इन द ग्रेन्स, द प्रॉब्लम इज द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द ग्रेन्स. ठीक है, चूहे खा जाते हैं हजारों केजी चावल, आटा, wheat. This happens. It was the official affidavit that was signed by the government to the court that all those grains were eaten by rats. Now someone will, things are not 100% right. I know everything, whatever wrong. अरे this government is not at all 100% right यार. सारे nepotism के भरे हुए हैं. एक आता नहीं है, दूसरे उनके बेटे को ले आते हैं. वहां नीतीश बाबू गए तो अपने बेटे को ले आए. वहां जो है सुषमा स्वराज के बाद जो है उनकी बेटी आ गए. सब. हाँ, निशांत नहीं आया. निशांत उनकी पॉलिटिक्स में तो देखो इनको, निशांत पार्टी तो ज्वाइन कर लिया ना. हाँ, निशांत नहीं आया. निशांत पार्टी तो ज्वाइन किया ना. अरे किया है भैया, कर लिया है. अच्छा, वहां पर अमित शाह, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट जय शाह इज देयर. जय शाह इवन डोंट नो BCCI chairperson and now I see. अरे सब नेपोटिज्म के जो है भरे पड़े हैं, सब कुछ नहीं है, पूरा जो है करप्शन इतना है, बुरा हाल है। बट अब व्हाट टू डू यार, वी हैव टू सी पॉजिटिव ना। वन ऑप्शन इज ईदर टू योरसेल्फ गेट इनटू दैट, बट पैसा लगेगा उसके लिए, पैसा है नहीं, ठीक है। अब तो कर क्या सकते हैं बताओ? हाँ तो करेंगे, डेफिनेटली होगा, है ना। बट फॉर दैट बेसिकली अभी के लिए क्या करें? अभी के लिए बीजेपी को ना वोट करे तो भैया किसको करे? ऑप्शन तो नहीं है ना। That is why it is often said in the politics that India is heading towards one party democracy. It's happening. एक आया था उसको फंसा दिया। हाँ एक आया था उसको फंसा दिया, आज तक भी नहीं पता एलिगेशन क्या थे। तुमको पता है क्या एलिगेशन थे? 100 करोड़ गोवा के इलेक्शन, अरे कुछ नहीं पता है क्या थे, फंसा दिया बेचारे को। पहली बार आया था हमें बताने के लिए कि रोटी कपड़ा मकान हमारा अधिकार नहीं है, जागीर में नहीं दे रही है सरकार, हमारा अधिकार है। इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, अरे सरकार हमसे टैक्स लेती है, हमें व्हाट वी गेट इन रिटर्न। आम आदमी पार्टी was the first time that entered in the Indian politics that told us कि this electricity, this water is your right, this hospital is your right. And who will talk positive? He will go to bar, behind the bar. तो अब करे क्या? Now my point. I am not accepting. I am not accepting. I am the only one who is highlighting these things. I know, but करे क्या? इसीलिए अपना काम करो. You are here not to change the government, not even to challenge the government. No, you are trying to be the part of it. Try to understand this, है ना? तुम अभी ना, तुम्हारा गर्म खून है, तुम्हारी अभी 20, 22, 24 साल की उम्र में तुम्हारे रगों में अभी गर्म खून बह रहा है। उस गर्म खून का नतीजा ये है, तुम्हें गुस्सा आता है, और तुम्हें गुस्सा आता है तो तुम्हारे आंसर में भी आ जाएगा वो गुस्सा, और तुम्हारे आंसर में अगर वो गुस्सा आ गया तो फिर संघ को गुस्सा आ जाएगा, यूनियन पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन, और यूपीएससी को गुस्सा आया तो तुम्हारे नंबर कटेंगे। तो इसीलिए गुस्से को अभी अपने से हटाओ। My always perspective is to shape your views in a positive way. कि तुम पॉजिटिव सोचोगे तो लिखोगे पॉजिटिव, समझ रहे हो ना बात? नहीं तो गलतियां तो गिनाने बैठेंगे तो सुबह से रात हो जाएगी, गलतियां नहीं खत्म होगी। ये घोटाले, वो घोटाले का तो पता तब लगेगा ना, तो दूसरी सरकार आएगी, तभी तो पता लगेगा घोटाले का। अब पिछले वालों को घोटाला उन्हीं ने थोड़ी बताया था, तुम्ही ने ना बताया था घोटाले का। अभी तो नीतीश बाबू गए, अब देखो पता लगेगा। नहीं नहीं सर, हम आए नीतीश बाबू। ठीक है, चलो फॉरेन पॉलिसी से इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स पे आ गए, आगे बढ़ो। ठीक है, कितना वो एकदम तुम दुखी हो गई। अरे नीतीश बाबू बिना पहनने का लोटा है, पता है ना तुमको ये बात? अरे पहले जो है लालू प्रसाद के साथ, फिर बीजेपी के साथ में। He has worked a lot. When I visited Patna, when I was a young child, I saw only one thing was visible, that a Mahavir Mandir. No development at all there. But अभी भैया बिहार में देख के पता लगता है डेवलपमेंट यार, गजब डेवलपमेंट है। हाँ सही सही सही, बट सही सही है ना, बट पहना तो नहीं है उनका। You know about history of Nitish Kumar? He came just by countering Lalu, and later on, after coming to power, he shook hand with Lalu. कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं। चलो आगे बढ़ो। तो अब देखो, इंडिया आसियान है ना, तो इंडिया आसियान रिलेशंस में ही स्ट्रेंथेंड द लुक ईस्ट पॉलिसी, ऑलराइट। So just put a small heading, India ASEAN relation, ASEAN. With regards to our friendship with Asian countries, right? And to deepen the engagements with Southeast Asia. India strengthened look east policy and signed free trade agreement. क्या हुआ बोलो? Look east policy. ठीक है, and signed free trade agreement in goods with ASEAN in 2010 and in services with ASEAN in 2012. पहले 10 में गुड्स में, फिर 12 में सर्विसेज में. ओके, हमारे वहां पॉलिटिक्स में महबूबा मुफ्ती कहाँ है? दिख ही नहीं रही है कहीं. दिख रही है थोड़ा थोड़ा. पीडीपी है ना उनकी, पीपल्स डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी. डेमोक्रेटिक, बाप रे. डेमोक्रेटिक नाम में देखो डेमोक्रेटिक है. She gave so many statements that were wrong, that were not at all required for the politics of this country. एक वो मुझे बड़े पसंद थे यार, वो जो उनकी पर्सनालिटी, फारूक के फादर, उमर नहीं, हाँ है ना, फारूक अब्दुल्ला. अरे भैया बहुत जवाहरलाल नेहरू के साथ में मिलकर के यार जबरदस्त काम किया था डेवलपमेंट के लिए. Worked a lot well. His identity is by media shaped like somewhat to anti-national, but he was the person who always basically like said everything for major integration of Kashmir with India. But his image is being tarnished nowadays. गलत है. अब देखो जापान के साथ what happened. So now one major development. See, now we knew that in Asia China is rising. Okay, now we cannot trust a lot to USA, and USA is not even close to the Asia. Okay, it's very far. Now we tried to strengthen our ties with Japan in order to counter the rise of China, right? Also, right, India-Japan relations. And one thing you witnessed, this is the first time I'm making you write the ties with Japan in any PM. All right, so yeah, right. During this time, India's ties with Japan got strengthened in areas of economic cooperation, infrastructure development, and strategic partnership. In areas of economic cooperation, infrastructure development, and strategic partnership. And the aim was to balance the rise of China. So developments came also in West Asia also. Our ties LNG agreement was signed with Qatar, and but this we will see in the West Asian ties. Okay. Now focus was also there on Africa. Okay, but now this was only the major things that happened. Now हाँ एक और लिख लो. ड्यूरिंग दिस टाइम इंडिया अडॉप्टेड अफगानिस्तान पॉलिसी. During this time, India adopted Afghanistan policy by which India majorly contributed to the reconstruction in Afghanistan. India contributed for the reconstruction of Afghanistan. देखो एक मिनट छोड़ो, सुनो। देखो हुआ ये कि नाउ द डिप्लोमेटिक एंगल चेंज्ड। ओके, अर्लियर इट वाज दैट कि सबसे पहला तो व्हेन ही जस्ट केम टू पावर ही इनवाइटेड इन हिज फर्स्ट ओथ सेरेमनी द आसियान लीडर्स। ओके, नॉट आसियान थे कि सार्क लीडर्स थे, ठीक है। So he invited the SARC leaders, okay, our regional partners, okay. That is a clear sign that we also want to basically promote our neighborhood policy, okay. Now the basically what to tell, it is that now the foreign policy is shifting from majorly, I would say, the government's foreign policy to personal diplomacy. Earlier what used to happen was Indian leaders used to go to the other world countries, okay, and other world not, but to the any other country, and they used to represent India. But now what is happening, I'm saying this in a positive way only, he is personally trying to build his relationships with those leaders. When visiting America, he is in a lawn, he is sitting on a झूला, क्या बोलते हैं उसको इंग्लिश में, झूला, that है ना, in the garden with Obama. Then the same thing, he is personally basically meeting the leaders at the world level. All right, personal building of the relationship called as personal diplomacies. Now he is trying to build that. All right, so now what happens is when you build the personal relationship with any of the leaders, so and obviously baat hai that personal relationship, the interest of that personal relationship is to protect the national interest of the country only. That is obviously the main objective. Now it benefits the country as a whole, okay, because you personally conveys your messages, okay, you personally convey what you want, what you aspire for. And even once a statement that was given by Trump was that Modi is very hard negotiator. He is not at all a easy negotiator, okay, he is a very hard negotiator. That thing also showed the personal stance of the diplomacy of Modi. All right, now another element of his diplomacy is retail diplomacy. Okay, now what is the meaning of this retail diplomacy? So retail diplomacy is L2P diplomacy, leaders to people diplomacy. When Japanese leader comes, they are like, it is tried its best that Adani meets with them personally, that Ambani meets with them personally. It's absolutely very good. Why? Because see, whatsoever we like, howsoever we criticize Adani, Ambani, but I see them positively personally. You may counter it, but what happens now? We at the smaller level, by starting our enterprises, we cannot emerge as global leaders. And for Indian companies, Indian enterprises, and Indian firms to become global, to sponsor global projects, to invest at a huge amount in Africa, to increase India's business influence in Africa, to increase our business influence in South Asia, we need big leaders. We need tycoons. We need billionaires who can sponsor those big projects. Getting the point? So his emphasis is now shifting to basically leaders to people. Now those leaders, they directly meet with those businesses, those founders, those people whom they are actually looking for investing in their country, and basically or for any other type of relationship. Getting the point? Now this is the main divergence in the policy. All right, we know सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक कराई, अरे वो सब नहीं बोलना है, दैट इज नॉट ट्रू. ठीक है, कराई, अच्छी बात है, करना भी चाहिए था. मैं तो कहता हूं लाहौर क्यों नहीं गए, ठीक है, जाके मारो, ठीक है, because obviously Indian target is never civilian. No single civilian injury happened during any surgical strike. That's for sure. Neither reported by Pakistan, never claimed by India. It was only the military targets that happened. All right. Now the thing is, हम तो कहते हैं तुम जाके चाय क्यों नहीं पी के आते लाहौर तक? That's my thing. But to be intellectual, है ना? To speak in the words of scholars, these points you have to highlight, right? This personal level diplomacy, this leader to people diplomacy, getting the point. And also the 4D diplomacy was basically prescribed or suggested by Modi. That was 4D diplomacy was democracy, demography, demand and diaspora. Okay. First is what is our strength? That is democracy is our strength. What is the major strength of India? Our democratic credentials, vibrant democracy going on in India. Second is demography. The Chinese population is becoming old, but we have a shining demography. We have a rising youth people in our country who can lead our country to do wonders at the world level, right? And have you ever thought that why Bill Gates is only born in USA? Why Bill Clinton, not Bill Clinton, but that वो का अरे वो है ना यार वो अरे वो Elon Musk है ना स्पेस वाला Elon Musk. Why Elon Musk is born in America only? Why not in India? You know this thing. In India, hundreds of Elon Musk and Bill Gates born every year and their dream die because they don't get the opportunity. Obvious सी बात है ना. पहली बात तो हमने we have confined the 50% of our population within the four walls of our house. Okay, that talent is 100% wasted. Okay, your mothers could have been basically whosoever is housewife. I'm not telling about those who are working, but for those majority of those who are housewives, they might have become a very good astronaut. That might have emerged as a billionaire, multi-billionaire. Okay, but now their talent is confined within the four walls of the house. Now, by stating this second element of the diplomacy, that was the demography, he wanted to highlight the demographic potential of India. And that's why the skill development is now going on. ITIs are basically in shining. The national skill project is there. The great economist Amartya Sen has also highlighted this thing, that the problem that India was not able to grow up till the level of China was that China invested in their skills development, but India lagged behind that. Why Apple for its manufacturing always went to China? Because there they got the skilled people, and in India they never got the skilled people. That was the reason. So the second focus was on demography, right? The third emphasis was on demand. India is a very big market and there is a huge level of demand in India. You will be shocked to hear that we are the largest producer of several things, but at the same time largest consumer also. The amount we produce more than it we consume. Okay. ठीक है. तो अरे अभी उनको गर्मी लग रही है, उनके नीतीश जी को बोल दिया है. I said something to his Nitish Babu. That's why he is warm, है ना? ऐसा ही है. वो नहीं है सर. यही कहा. देखो तुमने कहा क्या था? तुम बताओ चलो. तुमने क्या कहा था? अब भूल गई अब बेचारी, देखो है ना. नहीं सर, निशांत नहीं गया है. हाँ तो वो बनेगा चीफ मिनिस्टर, वो तो नहीं बना, बट डिड ही ज्वाइन जेडीयू और नॉट? यही तो हम भी कह रहे हैं. ठीक है चलो. Other fourth thing is India's diaspora. In every part of the world, Indian people are living, not just living, but shining. Okay. The largest remittances in whole of this world is sent by Indians only. Okay. Back to their families in India. All right. So that was and even he started the diaspora diplomacy. You can see whenever he is going to any place, first thing he used to do, like before going there, before physically being there, he used to invite all the Indians there whosoever Indian is living there. Okay, this was never done before. Okay, so whosoever Indian will meet him. Okay, so they will basically address their problems there, and even this will give a boost to the Indian population. Okay, that will in turn encourage India's development. All right. Now the key idea of this diaspora diplomacy was basically the brain drain that is basically happening. All right, so that brain drain must be converted to brain gain. All right, so what is brain drain? People in India are doing all their studying in IIT, IIM. You know one thing, in news also there was one publication. What was claiming was DRDO went to the top engineering colleges and they failed to secure the candidates. Why? Because DRDO is a governmental body that was not able to pay them 3 crore, 4 crore of hefty checks for a year of their contribution. Now no one came to basically join DRDO. Okay, why? Because those people they basically then go abroad. Okay, to basically profess their skills or whatever they have studied in India. Okay, so they are using the tax, the money of the taxpayer from India, and then going abroad, not contributing in India. We know, as a being a nationalist person, as being a patriot, I want that they must not go. Okay, but but as far as my understanding is concerned, why will not they go? Why will they not go? क्या क्या बोलेंगे इसको इंग्लिश में? Why will they remain in India or stay back in India? There is no reason to do that, है ना? Why? Because in India they are not getting those opportunities to basically practice their skills. Okay, as per, like, as compared to their skill set, they are not getting the places to basically use those skill sets to do wonders. Okay, they are getting it abroad, so they are going there. All right, so this is a very big problem that is happening, and for that diaspora diplomacy was started by Narendra Modi. All right, economic diplomacy was also there, neighborhood first policy was also there. Okay, now we basically did a lot under Modi to strengthen our Indian Ocean diplomacy. Okay, in Indian Ocean, we are emerging as a net security provider. All right, so that is happening. Don't feel sad. I'm just telling you fact. Okay, don't feel sad for that. Okay, I know, you know. So what I know, you also know, and what you know, I also know. Okay, we both share this thing. Okay, these ideas, so everyone here knows all those things. Okay, but because we have to highlight this, a question was also asked 3 years back uh, in one paper of GS. I think it was paper 2 only. Yes, in paper 2 in polity, that was about the rising importance of PMO. Earlier what used to happen was every ministry was equally important, but now there is a rising importance of PMO, Prime Minister's Office. That was a direct question. Okay, that was a direct question. Now, whether you like it or not, you'll have to study this. Okay, so half an hour more will be required for me to conclude this particular topic. All right, for making you write that. All right, then we will be starting with India. You tell with what to start. And then bilateral we will be doing, but with which country would you like to study first? पाकिस्तान. अरे पाकिस्तान को तुम छोड़ो, मेजर पावर थोड़ा बाद में करेंगे, पहले नेबरहुड पे चलते हैं. ठीक है, चलो मुस्कान आज दुखी है सब बात सुन के. मुस्कान तुम बोलो कौन से नेबरहुड के साथ पढ़ना है तुमको, बताओ. चलो चाइना. ठीक है, आज वो बेचारी दुखी हो गई है ना. दुखी नहीं हो, ठीक है. चलो करते हैं. फिर तुम कैसे पढ़ोगे यार फिर क्लास में, क्योंकि टाइम तो चेंज हुआ है ना. हाँ, कल से बिल्कुल नहीं आ पाओगे. ओके, ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स करते हैं फिर कल.